Hello, my name is Loes Thijssen and I'm here with Patrick Fransen, and we are the partners of NOAHH, Network-Oriented Architecture, and our international studio is based in Amsterdam. We have a wide portfolio with different types of projects and buildings, from cultural buildings to educational buildings and sports, and a lot of transformations. And what you can see is that every project is unique, and every project is unique because of a close collaboration with the users and with its context. What we find very important is that every project is tailor-made for the users, and that every project can also adapt over time, so that it can be in constant transformation. We call it a cultural multiversum. And this cultural multiversum exists of a collage of activities, of atmospheres and scenes that you can also see here. And this constant collage is changing over time. Basically, what you can see here, this is the timeline of the movie that you saw just before, because for us, a project and a building that is in constant use is the most sustainable to use it effective. We compare it with a lava lamp, as you can see here, where you have always the same amount of volume, but because we are seeing spaces as something fluid instead of something rigid, it can constantly transform to the activities that you need. So what is very important is that we are not designing in 3 dimensions, but in the 4th dimension of time. In our architecture, we are also fascinated by the universe, and especially this phenomena of wormholes, a theory about space and time, where you can basically skip time and flit through different spaces. So basically here you can zap, you can move to another space by just a split second. And that's something very important in all of our projects. You can see here a selection of projects, because we want to use basically every space in our buildings as a possible theater. So we see everything as theater. And important is also talking about the universe. If we zoom out, you all recognize this picture, the first picture where you see the Earth, and you see that there's actually no borders, and you see also how fragile actually our planet is. So we have to be really careful and considerative with how we use space. Our ideas are actually very simple in a way, and you can capture that the best in this drawing. It's a child's drawing where you can see a section of a house, and you see the main characters actually in 2 parts of this drawing. So in one drawing, 2 different time zones are combined into one. So talking about different times and scenes, this drawing is actually capturing that very well. And if we are talking about Amara, the building that we show on the exhibition, and where Patrick will also explain a bit more, is that this building is full of different small theater halls, and they can pop up and disappear in time. It's basically about the in-between space. It's not only about the main halls that you can see here, the different halls that are a close collaboration with the users, but it's basically about the spaces that are in between, and where different activities and different experience can happen. So you can never experience everything in this building, so it means you always have to come back. This is a model that we have made, and you can see basically the link to the lava lamp that I just showed. So you can see also how this space could be fluid. And if we zoom out and zap through different movies, then this movie, Interstellar, is something where you can also recognize this tessellation of different spaces and times that come together. And we captured our Interstellar, our cultural multiversum in many different models, more than 100 different models, because we cannot explain this whole building in just one model. So we created an exhibition, also in collaboration with Luca Molinari, where we experience basically all different parts of the story and all different little tessellations of the building.
Thank you. Even kijken. Yes, talking about Amare, it's not a building. We consider it as a city within the envelope of a superstructure. It's like an inversed Piazza San Marco. So whereas the facade contains all the elements like a city within a kind of central binding together identity-giving facade. But the interesting part is that this is the facade, and within this there's a new city. Basically like in this building where on the attic we have seen that was a baseball field once, and that it can be used in multiple ways during time. Inside this facade you can find this parts of the building. It's a kind of completely different world which can be experienced and explored in many ways. In the building you can see that there is street theater and activities popping up, not organized, kind of very informal, attracting like in the informality, like in this drawing you have seen. It can be also sketched in this building, so that there is the professionals acting, students working, people from the neighborhood playing, and they all do their activities during time at the same time. So there is so much to do that it cannot never be experienced in one moment. So the director of the dance theater is also telling that she is very inspired by these new visitors, and they changed their also the performances related to that. So the building itself stimulates to a new experiences and new ways of creating culture. So this is a art square where you can see students doing a course, and then in the evening there is the ladies from the neighborhood having a salsa festival, and they all use the space just after each other in multiple ways. And the same for the main protagonists, the main building parts. So you see here the dance theater hall in a normal theater setting, but also at the same time in a dance setting, and even the stage can change from horizontal to diagonal. So the building itself is being used as a transformer, also in physical way. On top of that, there is another theater hall which is also flexible. It's very like a arena setup, but also with a flexible stage. But it can also be used for experimental performances. And the same counts for the main concert hall, which is of course for classical music, as you can see at the right, but also for pop events at the left. And that not in the same day, but the day after. So the building changes a lot in identity and character, and also this small hall can be used for jazz, but also for dining events. As we really like is to design these warm halls, so to go from the one hall to the other, and that you, when you do a festival, can experience everything in a second or in some minutes. What we can see is that warm halls, they also are being used in different ways than we imagined. So we thought it's for a kind of art gallery, and suddenly it's used for ping pong for the dancers who here in the evening do a very professional dance on this diagonal platform, and at the parallel to them there is this pop concert. So it's a world of culture, and we designed it not for the architecture basically, but as a city, so with rules that people may use the building in multiple ways, and also guest players play there. And what we see is that not only music and dance is performed, but also video art is part of the building, became part of the building, because video can also be interpreted as a kind of expression of the music itself. That will be exposed as mapping in the building. And it's very interesting because then the building starts changing in architecture, like we visualized in this model, so that you can never explore it in the way you imagined in the beginning, but it's a daily ongoing change. So this exhibition now is so popular that it will move from the Amare to the City Hall, and hopefully it's also in constantly change like the building itself. Thanks.